Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be providing a long-term market analysis update for Theta token. We're going to cover some very key levels of resistance, the most recent breakdown of support, and formation of some lower lows. We're also going to talk about the Theta Bitcoin ratio and my longer-term outlook with this altcoin. So if you guys enjoy the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, by the way, feel free to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below if you want to go ahead and check that out. So first, I do want to talk about these two weekly moving averages, the 20 SMA and then 21 EMA. They have been very strong resistance throughout this bear market. And what's very important to note is how they have basically acted as resistance on 4 separate attempts over the last year or so. So you can see we had this first rejection in December of 2021, big rejection, we came back down and then we started to form lower lows. And then we found some support, made a move back up right into these moving averages, rejected yet again, came back down and then formed lower lows. And then you can see again, we had that lower high in August, came right up to that level, came back down, retested support. And over the last few weeks, we had a retest coming up to this level right around $1.30. That was the local high. And as of right now, we have started to roll over. We've made lower lows, and this is appearing to be yet another rejection similar to the last 3 previous attempts. So it's going to be really important to watch out for Theta into the next few months if it can start to have a break back above these levels of resistance. So do consider that these moving averages are going to be averaging down over the next few months as they have been downward sloping for this entire year. So also we did lose that level of support. We started to come back down forming lower lows. This level around 98 cents was the previous area in which Theta was actually able to bounce off of several times. We had this first move back here in May, a bounce right here in June, and then this last bounce right here in October before eventually breaking down. So now that Theta has broken down and has started to close the weekly back under this level for the first time since December of 2020, it's going to be really important to watch out for if this level is starting to flip into resistance. So the next few weekly candles are going to be extremely important to watch out for. If Theta continues to consolidate under this previous zone of support at 98 cents, then that would not be a good sign, and it would signal to me that we most likely have a little bit longer to go before eventually finding a bottom and ending this downtrend. And I just want to give you guys an example of what happened in the previous few months when we did have something very similar play out. So we actually had this level of support right around $4 where Theta was able to bounce off of this zone several times. We had this bounce right here in May of 2021, another bounce right here in July, and then we had these months in December and November coming back down, retesting this level. Eventually Theta broke down below it. You can see we had that retest of resistance right here in March, and that was followed up with this big correction back down, this big capitulation down to these lows under $1. So that was sort of the same thing playing out where we had the support, we started to break down, and then we flipped it right into resistance. And that's not something I want to see with Theta over the next few months with this level around 98 cents. Rather, for the bullish side of things, we need to see this level start to be reclaimed and ideally breaking back above both of these weekly moving averages. So this is something to watch out for to support the bullish narrative. Certainly doesn't have to happen, especially if Bitcoin continues to have relative weakness around that 16, 17K region. So definitely going to be important to watch out for not only the resistance at these moving averages, but if this level at 98 cents also flips into resistance. Now, beyond that, we do have some support right here at 81 cents, going all the way back here to September 2020. This was a level of resistance. You can see we had a rejection, a correction back down, and some consolidation for a few months just before this big breakout. And when we did get a breakout above that level, you can see how that really started to elevate this bull market. We had that rate of change pick up, and we really started to move our way into this mania-like peak around April of 2021. So I also do want to talk about the Theta Bitcoin ratio, and I'm going to cover these same two moving averages, the 20 SMA and the 21 EMA. These have been very strong resistance on the Theta Bitcoin ratio. Over the last several months, you can see how we basically broke these right here in July of 2021, and then ever since then it has just been acting as very strong resistance. All of these attempts coming up to this level, unable to break above it, continued resistance, continued rejections, very consistent with this trend. The only time we actually started to break this was right here in August, where we did have just one weekly candle close above this, but do consider this was a deviation, a fake out. The next following few weeks, we came right back under it, and ever since then, it has continued to act as resistance. So this is also a very important level for Theta to start to reclaim and break back above. But what is pretty interesting about these moving averages is if I just remove all these drawings, you can see that at the beginning, they were moving down at this very quick pace. But over the last few months, they've actually started to roll off here where, yeah, they are moving down, but at a much less degree to when they had been moving down in these later months in 2021. And that's largely due to the fact that we actually haven't broken down these lows from back here in May, and we're still holding that. So over time, these are going to start to slope off and start to round off. So that's definitely a positive sign, because given how strong resistance this is, it's better for them not to have such an aggressive downward slope, because that really does put some pressure on the price action, really does put some pressure on the support. And that pressure starting to ease with these moving averages starting to round off could be one of the catalysts for an end to this big decline against Bitcoin since that peak back here in July of 2021. So I hope you guys did enjoy the content and the analysis. By the way, make sure to check out my Twitter page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. As always, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.